Hey guys, we're going to be comparing and ordering integers today. Remember, an integer is all whole numbers and their opposites. So 1 and -1 and so on. We are going to be comparing using the symbols less than, greater than, or equal to. Okay. So number 1, if you visualize these on a number line, think about which one is going to be further right. The furthest right will be your greater number. So -15 is, we're going to say, less than -7. -18 is less than 0 because 0 is further right. So, and when you were younger, you probably learned the alligator's mouth, and you may have drawn like the little teeth in here to say the alligator's eating the larger number. Okay. Number 3, 8 is blank to -8. So what way would the alligator want to eat? So it would definitely want to eat 8, so 8 is greater than -8. Number 4, -8 is greater than -9. If you look at a number line, which one would be further right? And again, your alligator mouth, which is the greater than, always wants to eat the bigger number. Number 5, -17 is greater than -25. And the last one, number 6, we have -6 and -3. So -6 is less than -3 if you were to look at that on a number line. Our next section, order the integers from least to greatest. So, and this would be just looking on a number line and working from left to right. So here we're going to start with our smallest number, which would be -6. And a good test taking strategy is to cross it out. That way you don't reuse it. So -6, then we would have -2. Next is our only negative, -1. And then we have 3 and 4. So 3 and 4. So this was again from least to greatest. Number 8, we have our smallest number would be -8. Mark it out. Then -6, -3. Then we have 0, 3, and 10. So 0, 3, 10. Okay. And number 9. Again, from least to greatest, our smallest number, it looks like it's going to be -13. Then we'll have -9, -4. Then we'll start with our positives. Then we have 1, 7, and 11. So that is how we compare and order our integers. At the bottom of your note sheet, we talk about absolute value. And it is important to know that absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. So distance, how far it is from 0. Okay? And we use the absolute value bars, so these straight lines. And here's just an example on the number line. It's asking for the absolute value of -3. So if you look at -3, how far is it from 0? Well, it equals 3. It's 3 spaces away from 0. And the same thing over here. The absolute value of 3 is also 3 spaces away from 0. So the absolute value of -3 is 3, and the absolute value of 3 is 3. And then it's also important to know, here's your little asterisks here, the absolute value bars do not change any of the signs that are on the outside of them. So if it's outside of it, it doesn't change it. Here are some examples. So this question reads as the absolute value of -70. So -70 is how many places away from 0, and that would be just 70. So your absolute value will always be positive because of distance. If you go a distance, it doesn't matter if you go forward or backwards, you still went somewhere, so it has to be positive. Number 2 looks a little bit different. This symbol on the outside, our negative symbol, actually means the opposite of. Okay? So the opposite of. So this reads as the opposite of the absolute value of -3. Well, it's easy to do this, but first we're going to cover up that opposite of, and we're going to look inside. We're just going to break it down. What is the absolute value of -3? Well, the absolute value of -3 means how many places is -3 away from 0. Well, that's 3. And then I have the opposite of. The opposite of 3 is going to be -3. Number 3 means the absolute value of 16, which means it is 16 places away from 0. Number 4, there's that little symbol again. It means opposite of. But before we do that, we need to worry about what's inside of those bars. So what is the absolute value of 32? So how far is 32 away from 0? It's 32. Now, I brought it out of the bars, but I still have my opposite of symbol. So what is the opposite of 32? That is -32. So those are absolute value examples. Now we have something that looks a little bit different than absolute value, and it's these parentheses they're curved. Now parentheses just means it's separating whatever is right out in front of it. Okay, so it's separating the sign. You're not looking for absolute value when you see parentheses. Those are curved. Absolute value bars are straight. Okay, so this still reads, this symbol still means the opposite of. The opposite of 10. Well, the opposite of 10 is -10. Number 6, we have opposite of again. The opposite of -34. And I notice I did not say absolute value because we have curved lines, which mean they're parentheses. So what is the opposite of -34? That would be 34. And that is how you do comparing and ordering integers and absolute value.